So if you're planning your summer vacation, like I know a lot of you are, and you're thinking, well, maybe we'll go on a cruise. Well, we have some tips that you should know about before you book that cruise. Joining me now is Jim Pruder with AAA Arizona, giving us the breakdown on what we need to know, including picking a stateroom. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks. Good to be here. Fully 90% of Americans have not cruised.
I have not.
You have not, and it's a great vacation, but you really need to know some ins and outs and how to get around that. The biggest thing you need to know is picking your cabin, where you're going to spend that the next 7 days or 9 days.
Well, because the websites make them all look so amazing.
Oh, they make them all look good. Let's start with like an inside cabin.
Okay.
And say, well, what do I want an inside cabin for? Generally, you need to know that the lower the price of the cruise, the less desirable accommodations that you're going to get. But inside cabins aren't bad. And now you don't get a window. If you feel claustrophobic, you probably aren't going to like it. But cruising, it's pretty inexpensive. And so it's not the worst thing because you don't spend a lot of time in the cabin when you're on a cruise. You're out doing activities.
Okay.
Sleeping and showering. Next thing you want is an ocean view. You might move up. What does an ocean view mean? Be very, very careful here. You get a window. That window doesn't know, you might see part of the ocean or you might see all of the ocean. You have to be careful that it's not an obstructed view. I've been in cabins where you look out and you see the lifeboats, you see people walking by, exercising. So that may not be the best choice. The other, you can move up to a balcony cabin.
But you told me if you're taking your kids, you may not.
My heart would be.
You said your heart will be up here the entire time.
Because little kids run out and all
right.
that. But the balcony obviously is more money, and it's nice to relax. I'm not a smoker, but if people that smoke, they like to sit out there and
you're able
smoke,
to do that.
and you're able to do that where you really can't do it inside. And then, of course, if you can move all the way up to the suites and the penthouse where you get the big verandas.
And that's what they show on the website to lure you in.
Yeah, that's
and you get the 360. I'm like, wow, this place is huge.
Yeah, it's nicer than your home.
Exactly.
But, picking where you cruise is also important to the kind of cabin. So for me personally, I've been to Alaska. I've cruised in Alaska. They say, well, get a balcony because you see all the mountains.
It's probably too cold to be out there, right?
You're right.
At least for us zonies.
And then they have lectures from National Geographic, people that are out there and explaining it. And that's not going to be in your cabin. That's going to be out front with your coat on, looking at Glacier Bay. In the Caribbean, I happen to like the balcony because you can leave the door open. I like being from the desert, I like to hear the ocean at night and the waves and all that. And if you're going to Europe, get a balcony if you can because you get to see all these gorgeous ports. And so,
if you're doing like the Mexican Riviera and you're trying to do it on the cheap, then maybe you can go on the inside and be just fine.
You can, and remember, most of your cruising when the ship moves is going to be at night. And so you're not going, they go from port to port at night, so you're not going to be really seeing anything if you have a balcony. And during the day, you're into the activities. And so,
good point.
Yeah, you're into the activities. You're out, you're swimming, or you're in shore excursions. You're doing those kinds of things off the ship, and the balcony's not going to be the best thing. So.
Okay, well, what about exotic locations, like let's say we're going to South America, or we're going to like, Africa, or, someplace far?
Some of the things, even like in Hawaii, where they dock these cruise ships sometimes are in the industrial areas, and so you're not going to see great things even in some of the exotic locations because it could be shipping containers. I've been where there's a lot of heavy shipping traffic. So you really need to do your homework up front. Last tip on cruising, if you get motion sickness or you think you might, you want to be in the center of the ship as close to the main floor, the main deck as you can. You'll experience less movement. But if you're way high or way low, fore or after, you're going to feel a lot of movement.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your deal of the week.
I've got a great deal of the week.
I had to look it up on the map, to be honest.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
Yeah. It's over by Venice, and it's on that side, the Adriatic Sea, $4.99 per person. That's the entry-level price. But still, you could get a wonderful 7-night cruise, and that's a Royal Caribbean, and you cruise up down along the coast of Italy, Ravenna, Bari, Italy. And Croatia is one of the hot spots.
Slovenia, Dubrovnik, Croatia. Yeah.
Yep. And it's great. VIP priority through AAA on the embarkation. Champagne reception, $50 credit. Get out and travel.
$4.99 per person?
$4.99. That's the starting price. Probably an inside cabin in a lower part. But
who cares?
I'm not going to spend any time in a cabin if I'm over in that part of the world.
No, I don't think many people will.
But get out, have fun, get a vacation, and cruise and get out of the dry heat.
He's giving me a nod, nod, wink, wink because he's been trying. He's like, decide where you're going, Stephanie. What, 2 months now? 3 months that I've been trying to decide?
Yes, and I think we're just going to book it for you and say, here's where you're going. It's a surprise to her.
I cannot make decisions. And if you have a hard time making decisions as well, give Jim and the folks over at AAA Arizona a call. The phone number that you can reach them at is 731-3938. You can visit them online as well for information on how to book your vacation.